The Forsaken Heir. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 20. Charlie said lightly, "Talk about it." Warnya hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, our family invested more than $1 billion in the Brilliant Club. It can be regarded as a relatively large project. I am afraid that there will be any mistakes. I hope you can help to take a look at the feng shui and stop the disaster and bring blessing." Warnya said so. She was a little nervous. She didn't know if Charlie would agree. She looked at Charlie nervously with her big eyes. Charlie smiled faintly, thinking that the Song family had always been doing well and was loyal to him. In addition, Warnya came to the door in person this time and had a very respectful attitude, so why not just go and take a look? So, he nodded and said, "If this is the case, then I will come with you." Warnya hurriedly said, "Thank you, Mr. Wade, for taking the time out of your busy schedule. My car is downstairs at your house. We can leave at any time. When is it convenient for you?" Charlie said, "Let's do it now, just to see how your club is doing." Warnya was overjoyed and hurriedly accompanied Charlie out respectfully. Soon, Warnya's Rolls-Royce stopped at the door of the Brilliant Club. Brilliant Club is located in Jinka district, the most prosperous area in Oris Hill. The Song family started this project a few years ago, and it was only recently completed. This clubhouse is run by the top domestic architects, and the decoration style is also at the forefront of the trend, extremely luxurious. As soon as the car stopped, a waiter immediately came forward to open the door, and Charlie and Warnya walked off. After getting off, Warnya respectfully said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, please follow me." Charlie nodded, and first glanced at the facade of the entire clubhouse. The exterior shape of the glorious clubhouse looks rich and magnificent, and the luxurious atmosphere reveals a trace of nobility. The two white marble pillars are carved with dragon patterns, which are lifelike and daunting. From the moment you step into the clubhouse, the floor is covered with a layer of handmade wool carpets. The size of such a wool carpet is almost tens of thousands of square meters. For 1,000 square meters of space in the entire hall, the money spent on the stall alone is tens of millions. Warnya respectfully followed by her side, pointing to the walls around the hall that were tens of meters high, and said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, these murals are world-class cultural treasures, and each mural is worth about tens of millions." Charlie nodded and said, "There is a country in the Middle East called Abu Dhabi. The Grand Mosque there is like this as a whole, but what you deal with here is just right, without such a strong religious color." "Yes," Warnya said cautiously, "after all, most of us in China are atheists and don't promote too much feudal superstition, so we tried to avoid religious and cultural styles when we designed this club from the beginning." After that, Warnya pointed to a 10-meter high, very huge ceiling crystal lamp at the top of the hall. This crystal lamp is not only huge in size, but also very bright, making the whole room like daylight, with bright lights. Warnya continued, "Mr. Wade, this crystal chandelier is made of natural crystal and weighs 8.8 tons. It was acquired by the Song family after a lot of connections and effort, and in order to get it from Europe. To bring it here, we specially assemble it by airlift from Austria to Oris Hill." Charlie said, "Feng Shui said that in all business places and all serious business, the light should not be too dark. The darker the light, the more it affects feng shui, so you can never save money on the lamp. Warnya nodded and said, Mr. Wade, I will note this down. After that, Warnya smiled at Charlie and said, Mr. Wade, the top floor here is not open to the public. Except for the Song family, only you, the only supreme VIP, can go up. Why don't we go to the top floor to take a look? Charlie nodded slightly, okay. The Brilliant Club has 15 floors. Except for the lobby on the first floor, the other 14 floors are used as entertainment venues. Among them, below the 10th floor are boxes of different sizes and styles. Even the boxes of ordinary members are extremely luxurious, not to mention the high-level VIP boxes, which are simply an emperor's enjoyment. As for the 10th floor and above, there are swimming pools, sky gardens, fitness, and entertainment facilities. Among them, the top 15 floors are the most luxurious. On the 15th floor, Charlie just got out of the elevator, and immediately saw the luxury of the surroundings. It's a palace-like splendor, everything is extremely luxurious and elegant, and basically nothing can be faulted. Warnya walked beside Charlie and introduced, saying, Mr. Wade, this floor is the most luxurious floor in the entire glorious club. It is also equipped with a semi-outdoor infinity pool, presidential suite, private dining room, and even if you want to listen to music, a small concert can be held here. If you like a singer, you can ask him to come over and sing for you on the 15th floor. With that, Warnya hurriedly said, by the way, a very famous girl group is coming to Oris Hill for a concert recently. One of their members has been very popular recently and is named Koi Girl. The other's economic company happens to be our Song family invested. If you are interested in can be arranged. Charlie smiled lightly, waved his hand and said, forget it, I don't like the entertainment industry too much. Warnya nodded and said, the entertainment industry is really messed up. If you like more powerful players, I can also help you invite some top singers over and sing for you alone. Charlie smiled and said, if I have this need, I will tell you. Okay. Warnya smiled and said, in short, Mr. Wade must not be polite to Warnya. If you have any needs, you can tell me that I will do its best to satisfy you. When she said this, Warnya's face was reddened. This arrogant and indifferent eldest lady was rarely ashamed in front of a man. In fact, Warnya has always remembered the teachings of her grandpa. To find a way, to recruit him as the Song family's son-in-law. Moreover, she herself also likes Charlie, a man who has strength and ability, but is very low-key, and she has long been fond of Charlie. Therefore, these words are not only a heartfelt expression to Charlie, but also a vague expression of love. It's just that Charlie didn't taste the deeper meaning, but smiled slightly, thanked Warnya's respect, and said, from a glance, the feng shui here is still very good. At that time, I considered the issue of feng shui. However, it is required to be careful about it. Therefore, I have to look at each level, otherwise I may not be able to see it. After speaking, Charlie said calmly, let's do it, you go ahead and I will just go around. Warnya hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, I will stay with you. Charlie smiled and said, no, you need to be calm to see feng shui more thoroughly. I'll go and watch it alone. Just wait for me here. Warnya didn't insist on accompanying him anymore, and respectfully said, "Mr. Wade has any needs, just call me directly." Charlie nodded slightly to Warnya, did not speak, and walked into the elevator. Charlie went down from the 15th floor and took the elevator floor by floor to look over. Look at it layer by layer, and finally he reached the only second layer that he hasn't seen. Looking at it all day, Charlie felt that the brilliant clubhouse can be said that the decoration of each floor is very luxurious, and the designer's intentions can be seen. However, the feng shui here can only be regarded as quite satisfactory. Brilliant feng shui does have a certain degree of exquisiteness, but in Charlie's view, there is nothing very profound and unique. Ordinary people may think that feng shui here is very good, but in his opinion, the feng shui here is like a glass of boiled water. It has no advantages, no harm, dull and unremarkable. But now that Warnya had promised, Charlie didn't mind making a move, raising the entire glorious feng shui to the next level. He thought to himself that combining the feng shui mystery in the 9 profound heaven scriptures, he soon had a whole set of ideas. At this moment, a woman's voice suddenly came from behind him. "Charlie, why are you rubbish here?" Hearing this, Charlie frowned and turned around, and saw Wendy and a man in a white suit walking over. The man is no one else but the eldest son of the Wei family, Baron Wei. Baron Wei has loved Wendy since he got her from Fredman. He even promised Wendy that she would be a master. Wendy was unwilling to be sent around like a plaything at first, but seeing that Baron Wei was really sincere to her, she was willing to be his lover. From Wendy's point of view, although the Wei family's strength is not as good as Fredman's future company group, it is at least 1 billion in assets. Compared with the previous Wilson family, that is too much. Therefore, after she approached Baron Wei, she regained her former pride. Today the brilliant club opened. Baron Wei specially spent 5 million to buy a senior member qualification, and then brought Wendy over to experience it, and meet the world by the way. After Wendy entered the glorious clubhouse, she was shocked by the luxury here, and suddenly she had the feeling of high society. But when she was immersed in this feeling, she suddenly saw Charlie, who made her hate him. It's like when eating the Manchu feast, suddenly saw a fly. Disappointment. It's really disappointing. She was so disappointed that she just wanted to quickly find a way to get rid of this fly. Otherwise, the experience of this full-fledged man will instantly fall into the valley. Of course, it is best to swat this fly to death. When Baron Wei saw Wendy firing a cannon at a very ordinary guy, he hugged her waist tightly, and asked curiously, "Wendy, this is the smelly live-in son-in-law Charlie you said?" "It's him." Wendy gritted her teeth and looked at Charlie, and said, "This grandson has been a notorious waste since he was in college. I didn't expect that he would still come to the brilliant club." When Baron Wei was lingering with Wendy, he heard Wendy talk about some of the past of the Wilson family, so he was very impressed with Charlie. When he thought that he had just conquered Wendy, in order to make Wendy give up, he naturally wanted to give her a lot of help, so Baron Wei looked at Charlie and sneered, "Boy, is the glorious club a place where you can come?" Charlie's face became cold, and he asked, "Why can't I come?" "Why can't you come?" Baron Wei grinned and said, "Because you are not worthy." Charlie couldn't help laughing when he heard Baron Wei's words. He was not angry, but looked at him with a good temper, and asked with a smile, "Come on, tell me, why am I not worthy?" Baron Away's nostrils turned into the sky, and he coldly snorted, "I need to ask? You naturally don't deserve it. Look at the clothes you wear, it's not as good as the doorman at the door." Charlie smiled and said, "What I wear is my freedom. Does Brilliant Club still require guests to wear specific clothes?" Baron Away sneered, "Of course, the Brilliant Club does not require clothing, but the membership system is implemented here. No member is absolutely not allowed to enter." With that, Baron Away asked sarcastically, "Are you an ordinary member here?" Charlie shook his head lightly. "No." Baron Away asked disdainfully, "Then are you a senior member here?" Charlie also shook his head. "No." Baron Away sneered and said, "Why don't you want to tell me, are you a VIP member here?" Charlie spread his hand, "It's still not." Baron Away couldn't help laughing, "Ha ha ha, you smelly rug, wouldn't you tell me you are a senior VIP member? As far as I know, no more than 10 people can get senior VIP members in Oris Hill." Charlie smiled lightly, showing 2 rows of small white teeth, and said harmlessly, "Neither." Baron Away frowned and snorted coldly, "You or him are not any members. I think you came in while you were unprepared, right?" Wendy on the side also said sarcastically, "Then I need to ask, how could such a waste son-in-law who was abandoned by our Wilson family be a member here? It's definitely a stinky rag who came in to eat and drink." After finishing speaking, she glared at Charlie, gritted her teeth and said, "Charlie, you came to the wrong place today. This is the newly opened brilliant high-end club of the Song family. Today, it is open for trial business. The people who come are all decent characters. You dare to get in and make trouble? Are you not afraid of being killed by security?" Charlie said innocently, "I am a member here, why would the security beat me?" Baron Away sneered and said, "Do you pretend to me? There are 4 grades of members here: ordinary member, senior member, VIP member, and senior VIP member. You are none of these 4. You still say you are a member?" Charlie said seriously, "Although I am not a member of these 4 tiers, I am a supreme VIP member and belong to the 5th tier. Don't you know?" "Bah!" Baron Away said contemptuously, "I can go to your mother to drop it. I didn't see the hanging introduction in the lobby on the 1st floor? There are 4 files in total, and you really know how to edit it. What kind of supreme VIP member? Dan, are you not afraid of offending the Song family?" Charlie shook his head helplessly and said, "You are so strange, what I told you is the truth, why do you just not believe it?" "I believe you." Baron Away seemed to hear a big joke, and said mockingly, "Just like that, you want to fool me, Baron Away?" Charlie asked curiously, "Are you famous? Why haven't I heard of you?" Baron Away sneered, "Have you heard of Ways Pharmaceuticals? I'm the general manager of Ways Pharmaceuticals." Charlie shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, I haven't heard of it." Baron Away thought that Charlie was deliberately taunting him, and suddenly said with a gloomy face, "Boy, you are having trouble today, and you don't have a membership, and you dare to enter the brilliant club of the Song family. You also blatantly said that you are a supreme VIP member. Which idiot made up this name for you? It's a bluff." Charlie shook his head helplessly, took out his membership card, and said, "Here, look, this is my membership card. Does it say Supreme VIP member?" Baron Away took a look at the membership card and immediately frowned. Not to mention, the workmanship of this card is so good. The workmanship is much better than your ordinary membership card. However, he has never heard of any Supreme VIP members of the Glory Club. There are obviously only 4 gears. Thinking of this, Baron Away had an answer in his heart. This card must be forged like this. This smelly rag is so bold. He even dares to forge the membership card of the Song Family Club. What is the difference between this and forged bank checks? So he immediately snorted and said, "Boy, quickly kneel down and apologize to me, and then get out of here. Otherwise, I'll say hello to Boyu, the housekeeper of the Song family. Do you know that I am talking to Boyu? What's the relationship? Boyu and my dad, that's like brother. In fact, Baron Away's father has nothing to do with Boyu. The two of them are just fellows, and it coincides that they have known each other for a long time, so they are a bit personal. Boyu has been in Song family for many years, and his position is detached. It can be said to be a foreigner with the strongest strength and highest status in addition to the big figures in the Song family. In terms of status, Boyu is much better than an underground king like Orville. Because Orville couldn't come to the stage after all, unlike Boyu, he was the spokesperson of the Song family on many occasions. Therefore, Baron Away often talked about Boyu when he was outside, which could have the effect of a fake tiger. When Charlie heard that he knew Boyu, he sneered and said, "I forgot to tell you that the Supreme VIP membership card was given to me by Warnya Song, the eldest of the Song family. Didn't you just ask, which idiot made up this name? This name was made up by Miss Song. I'm going to your mother." Baron Away snorted contemptuously, and said, "Just like you, it's worth Miss Song to make up a name for you? Do you really think that you don't need money, you can just blow it? It's going to kill you if you blow it, you know." Charlie asked curiously, "Why is it terrible? Is it toxic?" "I'm stupid," Baron Away exploded and shouted angrily, and said, "Will you behave with me? Do you know, you are disrespectful to Miss Song. If Miss Song finds out, your dog life cannot be saved." Charlie smiled and said, "It seems you are disrespectful to Miss Song, right?" Wendy on the side immediately said to Baron Away, "Barona, what are you talking about with this kind of rag? Directly call the security guards of the Brilliant Club to come over and tell them what he just said." "Will the security guards let him go?" "You must say hello to Boyu when that time comes, give this stinky a lesson and abolish him so that he can't be a man." Fredman couldn't be a man. It seemed that Charlie had used some shameful means. Wendy had always hated this, so now she especially hoped that someone can abolish Charlie. When Baron Away heard this, she immediately patted Wendy's hand and said, "Don't worry, Wendy, I will call the security guard to come and kill him." After that, he immediately shouted, "Where is the security? Are they dead? Come here. Someone pretends to be a brilliant member and arranges your eldest lady." As soon as the voice fell, a vigorous and solemn voice sounded, "Who is making noise? What's the matter?" Charlie looked up. "Okay, the housekeeper of the Song family, that bad old master is here." With Boyu's angry shout, Baranaway suddenly burst into laughter. He looked at Charlie with a smile on his face, and mocked, "Ha ha, man, you are dead this time, and even the gods can't save you." After finishing speaking, he turned his head to look at Boyu, pointed at Charlie and complained, "Boyu, here is a force, not only pretending to be a member of our glorious club, but also daring to be disrespectful to Song family. You can teach him a lesson, right?" Boyu frowned. "He's getting older and my eyes are not so good, so he can't see the face at all from a distance." But he did recognize Baranaway, who was a little closer to him. Because he is the son of a fellow villager, he has a lot of contact and is relatively trustworthy, so he sternly said, "Who is so brave? Security, take it for me." A few security guards of the top 5 and 3 thick will immediately encircle them aggressively. Wendy was very excited, staring at Charlie with a sneer, and sarcastically said, "Charlie, I see how you died today." Charlie sneered, "You die 8 times, and I can't die either." Wendy stomped, "It's hard. Barana, someone will tear his mouth." Charlie ignored him, but looked at Boyu, who was approaching, and shouted coldly, "Mr. Boyu, you bad old master, you are very powerful. Want to take me down?" As soon as this sound came out, everyone on the scene was shocked. Is this guy not dying fast enough? Calling Boyu a bad old master? See how Boyu killed him this time. It is said that Boyu started a fire to death. However, Boyu hasn't been angry for many years. This time it is estimated to be blown up by this guy. However, no one thought that Boyu was shocked by this sound, shaking his whole body. He listened to his voice like Mr. Wade, and when he looked up, he was indeed Master Wade, who even the Song family was respected by. Seeing Charlie, he shuddered, and the aura just disappeared. He immediately clasped his fists and bowed, "Mr. Wade, I didn't know it were you." It is really offensive. As soon as these words came out, the audience suddenly froze. This. What is going on? The aloof Boyu unexpectedly apologized to a smelly pauper? Before everyone knew what was going on, Charlie said coldly, "I heard that you have a very high status in the Song family. No matter how high you are, you shouldn't be higher than the Song family old master." Because Baranaway said that Boyu was his father's brother, Charlie did not intend to spare Boyu easily. He doesn't want to care if Boyu is innocent. Who made others pretend to be forced by him under your name? Then he will ask you to settle the account. When Boyu heard that Charlie moved out of the Song family directly, he suddenly knew that he was in trouble. Without saying anything, he knelt in front of Charlie with a thud, and said with trepidation and piousness, "Mr. Wade, if there is something wrong with what I did, let me make it clear that I will make all efforts to correct it." Charlie nodded, looked down at him, pointed to Baranaway with a dumb face next to him, and asked, "This man said that you are his father's brother, is it true?" Boyu glanced at Baranaway and immediately said, "Mr. Wade, his father and I are fellow villagers, and can barely be regarded as friends, but we are definitely not brothers." "Good." Charlie nodded. Said, "This kid and his concubine have been using your flag to mock me, threaten me, and kill me. What do you think about this?" Boyu instantly understood that Charlie's dissatisfaction with him was completely responsible for Baranaway in the courtyard. He yelled at Baron Away angrily. You offended Mr. Wade, and don't kneel down. Baron Away hadn't figured out what was going on. What is Mr. Wade? Why is it Mr. Wade? Isn't it just a smelly rug? Is he confused? So, he subconsciously said, Uncle Boyu, isn't this just a rubbish and stinky silk? You are such a high figure, kneel down to him? You are the confidant of the Song family. And he offended Miss Song family, you have to kill him. Boyu shivered in anger. Let him kill Mr. Wade? Is he crazy? Who doesn't know the name of Mr. Wade in the upper class of Oris Hill? The old master of the Song family relied on Mr. Wade's magic needle and magic medicine to recover from the beginning. The Song family went up and down, respecting Charlie and treating Charlie as a god. No matter how much he has a status, it is also compared to his subordinates. Even the people who are in charge of the Song family are regarded as gods. If you see it yourself, you have to be like a god and kneel down. The man at the helm of the Song family, Mr. Song, now says the most words at home every day. You really don't know Song family. In what year and month can you get Charlie, the real dragon in the world? The old master can't wait to let him the grandson-in-law. Therefore, in Boyu's heart, Charlie's status is even higher than that of the Song family. Now Baron Away said that he and his father were brothers, and holding his own flag, annoyed Mr. Wade, he was going to kill this pretender. Thinking of this, he immediately stood up, raised his hand and slapped Baron Away's face, and then shouted to the security guard beside him, "Come on, press him down." And the woman next to him. Baron Away didn't expect that Boyu would raise his hand and hit him. Just about to ask what happened, he felt two strong forces pressed down from his shoulders on both sides, causing him to kneel on the ground uncontrollably. Wendy was so frightened that she hadn't recovered when she was pushed to the ground. At this moment, Uncle Boyu put his hands on the ground, looked up at Charlie, and said with a panic, "Mr. Wade, I made friends accidentally. I didn't expect my friends to have such a son who doesn't know good or bad. Please rest assured, Mr. Wade. I will teach him a lesson and let him know the price of rebelling against you." Charlie said indifferently, "He is a small person, a little talker, it's not a big deal. Besides, people know you old Master Boyu, even if you reach out and hit me, I can only endure it." As soon as Boyu heard this, he knew that Charlie was not going to forgive himself this way, so he slammed 3 heads in a row, and said, "Mr. Wade, if you have any dissatisfaction, please don't hesitate to say it, even if it's a waste." Boyu is absolutely unambiguous. Charlie waved his hand, "You don't need to scrap it, I just want to know, if someone offends your eldest lady, what would you do?" After speaking, Charlie pointed to the Supreme VIP membership card in Baron Away's hand, and said to Bo, "This card is given to me by your eldest lady." The title of the Supreme VIP member to show respect. As a result, in this person's mouth, the Supreme VIP member became a stupid name. I ask you, does this not mean calling your eldest lady a stupid? Boyu turned his head, gritted his teeth and waited for Baron Away. He questioned with a gloomy expression and murderous expression, "You Wei, are you living enough?" Baron Away was frightened by Boyu trembling. He was terrified, but still pretending to be aggrieved. "Boyu, in the information displayed in the lobby on the first floor, there is no such thing as a Supreme VIP member. This must be made up by the guy himself. You can't be fooled by him. That's it. Wendy also said life and death, sarcastically. This kind of person's shamelessness is really the only thing I have seen in my life. I don't care if he pretend to be a member. He also specially fabricated a level and even forged a membership card. It's too bad, you don't put the Song family in my eyes at all. Wendy wanted to kill and punish him, and closely linked Charlie's behavior with the rebellious Song family. In this way, the Song family would naturally not let Charlie go. However, she completely ignored the relationship between Charlie and the Song family. Even if she didn't believe in Charlie Rag from the beginning to the end, there could be any upper-class resources that could really be respected by the upper-class people, but that was the case. At this time, Boyle was shivered by these two popular people, and gritted his teeth. Do you two know that this Supreme VIP member is specially set by our eldest lady for Mr. Wade? There is only one person in the world. You blatantly offended Mr. Wade and offended the eldest lady here. Today I will never forgive you. Ah! Baron Away felt a little bit in her heart. This Supreme VIP member turned out to be real? Moreover, this level is still set by Miss Song family? Didn't you scold Miss Song family? My God, isn't this seeking a dead end? At this time, Boyle looked at Charlie respectfully and said, Mr. Wade, these two rubbish offended you, what price do you want them to pay? Charlie said lightly, these two people are extremely low quality. Their mouths are so bad that they are spraying feces. I think I should let them neutralize the breath in their mouths. Boyle hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, do you want to pour them a few kilograms of perfume? Charlie waved his hand. Boyle, people must have common sense. Perfume is a high concentration chemical product. It's okay to spray a little bit. Drinking a few kilograms will kill you. Although these two people's mouth is a little bit cheap and smelly, sin does not die. Both Baron Away and Wendy looked at Charlie in disbelief. They didn't expect that he would let them go. This really surprised them. Boyle hurriedly asked, then I don't know what Mr. Wade has to order. Charlie smiled slightly and said, if you spray feces on their mouth, just bring some bashful things to neutralize it. Or else, take them to the men's bathroom and let them lick the men's bathroom urinals. If they don't willing to lick, and then feed them to drink perfume. Boyle nodded immediately, okay. Now that Mr. Wade has ordered, come here. First invite the guests from the men's bathroom, temporarily close them, and then take these two to the men's bathroom and let them take everything licking the urinal clean. Baron Away and Wendy looked at each other, panicking each other to death. Licking the urinal? How embarrassing and disgusting. Baron Away is a man himself, he knows how dirty, bashful, and disgusting the urinal is. Countless people are urinating on it, and their fingers are disgusting to death. Now let himself lick? Isn't this an insult? So he hurriedly begged Boyu, for the sake of my dad's face, you can spare me this time. The urinal is a place where people can't lick, it's too disgusting. Boyu said coldly, okay, you don't need to lick it. I will immediately ask the warehouse to bring 10 kilograms of concentrated perfume. You have 5 kilograms each. You can't leave until you finish drinking it. The Glory Club has 15 floors, with a huge area, and there are very high-class fragrances everywhere, all of which are imported perfumes. Therefore, the stock of perfume in the brilliant club is extremely large. When Baron Away heard that he was going to drink 5 kilograms of perfume, his liver trembled. There are at least 2.5 kilograms of alcohol in 5 kilograms of perfume, as well as various chemical additives, musk additives, and antiseptic additives. If he really drinks 5 kilograms, he will not be able to save it. In contrast, licking the urinal is a bit disgusting, but at least he can survive. Seeing him hesitate, Boyu immediately became angry and lost his patience. He said to the security guard beside him, "He doesn't want to lick it. Give me a slap in the face first, and charge me some interest." Yes. He gave a direct order, and the security guard of the brilliant senior club rushed over and surrounded Baron Away and Wendy. The security guards didn't say anything, and didn't procrastinate, immediately raised their fists and punched them together. Before Baron Away and Wendy could react, they were beaten with fists and kicks. The beatings blossomed all over their faces, their noses and tears were beaten out, and they were miserable. Baron Away, who was in pain all over, struggled and pleaded, "Boyu, how can I say that I am also your senior member? I spent 5 million. Don't say that my dad and you are still friends. Even if they are just ordinary people, since I am customer here, you shouldn't call me either." When Boyu heard this, his face turned green. "Do you think you are a member here, so you can provoke our supreme VIP member? I tell you that the entire Song family respects Mr. Wade, and you dare to disobey Mr. Wade. What are you? I tell you, tomorrow I will refund your membership fee to you. From now on, the Glory Club will permanently ban you from entering." Baron Away is going crazy, his eyes are red. The senior members bought it for real money, so why do you cancel it? But at this time, how can he dare to talk to Boyu? A security guard ran over holding a few large bottles and said respectfully, "Boyu, here's the perfume." Boyu nodded and said, "Okay." Since they don't want to lick the urinal, then pry open their mouths and pour them in with perfume. Each can fill 5 kilograms, and 1 drop must be no less. Several security guards immediately stepped forward, pinched Baron Away and Wendy's mouths, and asked them to open their mouths. Immediately afterwards, the 2 security guards each took a 2-pound perfume bottle and directly unscrewed the lid. The strong aroma instantly overflowed, and the smell was so strong that it was even a little choking. Boyu looked at Baron Away and Wendy with pale faces, and said coldly, "Drink so many perfumes. It is estimated that you will be able to ensure that your bodies will not rot when you die. Then find a wasteland to dig a pit and bury. Maybe a few hundred years later there will be an unearthed cultural relic." When the 2 heard this, they were shocked. No one wants to die. They thought that drinking perfume was just a threat, but they didn't expect it to be true. In this way, licking the urinal has become the mildest punishment in the world. So the 2 said in unison, "Forgive us, Boyu. We choose to lick the urinal. Everyone knows that the urinal in the men's bathroom is irritating, but it will not be fatal if it is licked." But if the 5 kilograms of perfume were down, their bodies would not be able to cover it. Although Baron Away and Wendy are arrogant, neither of them wants to make fun of their lives. As long as they survive, licking the urinal is nothing. It's not a big deal to rinse your mouth and brush your teeth a few times. Seeing that they had chosen to lick the urinal, Boyu said, "Come here, drag this pair of dogs to the men's bathroom, and let them lick the urinal clean. If they dare to leave a stain, they will hit all the..." The security guards dragged Baron away and Wendy to the men's bathroom on the second floor like a dead dog. Boyu respectfully said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, would you like to oversee it?" Charlie nodded. "Of course, I can't miss such an interesting thing." After all, under Boyu's respectful service, he stepped to the bathroom. The bathroom on the second floor is very large, and there are 2 rows of 16 urinals alone. Several security guards pushed Baron away and Wendy to one of the urinals, and said coldly, "What are you doing? Hurry up!" Baron away tremblingly stuck out his tongue, but he never dared to move forward. Although the bathroom of the brilliant clubhouse is quite clean, it is a urinal after all. Usually the bathroom has an aromatherapy effect. You can't smell anything too irritating and ask, but when you approach the urinal, you can still smell a strong urine smell. This led Baron away feel nauseous. Wendy was also fainted by the disgusting hair. The smell was so violent that she almost fainted. Seeing that the 2 were still rubbing together, Boyu said coldly, "If you're haggling again, I'll let you lick the toilet." The 2 shuddered in fright. Baron away mustered up the courage first, leaned forward to the white porcelain urinal, stuck out his tongue, and licked the tip of his tongue until he clicked on it, and then he retched disgustingly. Wendy, who was on the side, could only learn something, closed her eyes and gently licked on the urinal. Baron away's expression was very ugly, black and green, looking at Boyu, begging, "Boyu, we have already licked it, can you let us go?" Boyu turned his head and looked at Charlie. "Mr. Wade, what do you think?" Charlie hugged his arms and sneered, "This is too foolish, right? Just stick your tongue? What a joke!" Boyu hurriedly asked, "Mr. Wade, what do you mean?" Charlie pointed to the 16 urinals in 2 rows, and said, "In this way, let them lick 8 of them, and distribute them fairly. No one suffers. Each one must be licked from the inside out." "It won't work." Everyone present was stunned. "Mr. Wade is too cruel. One person licks 8 urinals? This urinal is an imported Kohler urinal. It is very large and stylish. It is almost 1 meter high, not to mention licking 8. Even if they lick 1, they will have to smash people to death, licking 8. When Baron away heard this, Wendy broke down. Wendy burst into tears and begged Charlie on her knees, "Charlie, anyway, you are also my brother-in-law. For the sake of my youth and ignorance, let me go this time." Baron away also folded his hands together and kept begging, "Mr. Wade, you have a lot of ways, please give me a way to survive." Charlie nodded and said, "I've given you a way to survive. I will let you go immediately after licking 8. Baron away's expression was even uglier than his dead father, and he cried and said, "Mr. Wade, 8 are too many, and 1 is so big, no one can stand this stuff. Oh, can't stand it." Charlie smiled, and said to Uncle, "Call Mr. Orville and bring these 2 people to his dog-fighting ring. Like the Hong Kong Mr. Lai, chop up and feed them to dogs." Boyu nodded immediately and said, "Okay, Mr. Wade." At the beginning, the liar from Hong Kong, the Feng Shui master named Lai, was exposed because he lied to the eldest, and was directly fed the dog by Mr. Orville. Mr. Orville didn't do this kind of thing once or twice. He was already familiar with it. When Baron Away and Wendy heard this, they were frightened. At this time, how dare the two of them bargain? Baron Away, who has the strongest desire for survival, blurted out, "I lick. I lick. I will lick." After finishing speaking, he immediately rushed to the urinal in front of him, stuck out his tongue and licked it to resist the nausea. The pungent smell made him vomit while licking, but he didn't dare to delay any time. For fear of being dragged to feed the dog, he could only bite the bullet and continue to lick. Wendy was so sad that she cried, holding the urinal and licking it. Charlie said at this time, "Wendy, this row has been claimed by Baron Away, you are licking it now to help him, the row you have to lick is behind you." Wendy cried loudly. It turned out that it was licked in vain just now, so she could only cry while crawling to the back row, holding the urinal and licking it. This is really the biggest humiliation she has suffered in her life, and the worst torture she has suffered in her life. Charlie didn't want to stay here to appreciate their performance art, and told Boyu, "Remember, you must let them lick clean before letting them go." Boyu quickly said, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will look at them personally." Charlie nodded, turned directly onto the private elevator, and went to the 18th floor. Boyu personally sent him off, not daring to be disrespectful. When Charlie was about to get on the elevator, Boyu said nervously, "Mr. Wade, what happened just now is really because of my impropriety. It must have irritated you, and I hope you can forgive me." Charlie said indifferently, "Give me a good look at those two people, as long as they lick carefully and cleanly, then forget about it." Boyu hurriedly nodded, "Mr. Wade, please rest assured, even if they dare to miss one spot, I will kill them." As he said, he couldn't help but begged, "Mr. Wade, there is another plea from me." Charlie said lightly, "Say it." Boyu hurriedly bowed respectfully, "Mr. Wade, what happened just now, please don't tell Missy, your great kindness, I will remember it for life." In the final analysis, Boyu is nothing more than a servant and a courtier of the Song family, and Charlie is a guest of the Song family desperately trying to fudge. If Warnya knows what happened just now, she will definitely punish him and even take his job as a steward. Charlie also knew that Boyu himself was not wrong, it was just being used by others. Seeing that his attitude was very correct, he nodded and said, "Okay, I will help you this time for the time being. Anything to do, don't blame me for being rude to you." Boyu immediately thanked him and said, "Mr. Wade, please rest assured that I will definitely draw a clear line with this kind of person in the future. If there is another time, I will break his legs." "Yet." Charlie nodded faintly, waved his hand, and said, "Okay, you go." Only then did Boyu worshipped and said, "Thank you, Mr. Wade." After reaching the top floor, Charlie found Warnya and probably told her about the Feng Shui situation of the Brilliant Club. Warnya couldn't help being a little disappointed when she heard that the entire glorious Feng Shui was unremarkable. It seems that the Feng Shui master she was looking for before was not really good, and has no Feng Shui ability at all. So she hurriedly asked Charlie, "Mr. Wade, do you have any good ways to improve the brilliance Feng Shui?" Charlie smiled faintly, and said, you have 2 welcoming pine trees on the first floor, placed in the southeast and northwest corners, facing each other at an angle, and then replace the 2 stone pillars at the door with stone lions. A male and a female. It is impossible for a lioness to bring a cub. It must be 2 male lions, and the 2 male lions must not be parallel. The eyes must be placed at 90 degrees. At the same time, let people make 2 gold foils and press them on the stone lions below you. In this way, it can become a pattern of 2 lions gathering wealth. Warnya asked subconsciously, I don't know what the 2 lions gather for wealth. Charlie said with a smile, the gathering of wealth with 2 lions is a feng shui for wealth, with 2 lions as the mainstay, 2 welcoming pine as the supplement, and the combination of gold leaf and the brilliant club. As long as it is arranged, it will be brilliant. The wealth of the clubhouse will be taken a step forward. Warnya was shocked. The method Charlie said was something she had never heard of. At the same time, she sighed for Mr. Wade's ability. Just casually giving pointers can have such an amazing effect. This is simply a magical method. Mr. Wade is indeed a real dragon on Earth, as Grandpa said. Warnya said gratefully, Thank you, Mr. Wade, I will let people do it. Charlie nodded and checked the time. It was almost time to go back to buy vegetables and cook. So, he said to Warnya, you remember what I just said, and quickly arrange for someone to change it. It's getting late, I'll go back first. Warnya hurriedly said, then I will see you off. No need. Charlie said, I went to the 2nd floor and greeted Boyu. I saw him just now. Warnya said, then I can't let you go alone. Charlie smiled and said, let's go drive, wait for me outside the lobby on the 1st floor, I'll say hello, and then come down to find you. Warnya nodded and said, okay Mr. Wade, I will wait for you in the car. The reason why Charlie wanted to see Boyu was not that he really wanted to say hello to him, but because he wanted to see how Wendy and Baronaway were doing. When he came to the 2nd floor bathroom, Wendy and Baronaway had just licked the 2nd urinal. Both their faces were extremely pale, and the ground next to them was full of filth. Seeing Charlie's arrival, Boyu hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, you are here. Charlie frowned and asked, did they just lick the 2nd one? Is the efficiency not too slow? Boyu hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, these 2 are almost finished vomiting their bile. Charlie said coldly, give them an hour. If they can't finish it within an hour, take them to lick the 3rd floor. Yes. Boyu nodded hurriedly, and then shouted to the 2 of them, have you heard? Don't hurry up, each of you will have 8 more urinals to lick. The 2 of them paled in shock, and Wendy even spit out bile, but she could only wipe her mouth and continued to lick the urinal in shame. At a certain moment, Charlie thought in his heart, is it a bit too much to treat a woman like this? But when you think about it, it's not at all. This Wendy is a snake-hearted. How many times has she urged others to rectify him, and even wanted to abandon him? If it wasn't for his own ability, she would have killed him. So, give her a little today, enough to make her remember the lesson of life. Afterwards, Charlie said to Uncle, I'm leaving, your eldest lady is waiting for me downstairs. You can supervise things here. If you dare to release the water, I can only ask you. Boyu hurriedly bowed, Mr. Wade, don't worry, I will supervise with all my strength. I will never release water. Yet. Charlie nodded, turned, and left. After he left, Wendy and Baronaway were afraid of being punished because of their slow speed, so they could only lick the disgusting men's urinal harder. When the two of them finished licking the 8 urinals each, their tongues were about to break, and the smell on their tongues was as if they had been marinated in urine for a year, and the smell was unbearable. The mouths of the two of them were naturally unsmiling. Not only that, but the whole body was full of a disgusting smell. The two of them wanted to borrow some tap water to rinse their mouths, but Boyu didn't agree. For fear that Charlie would turn around and blame him, he hurriedly asked someone to drive them out. After the two were driven out, they plunged into the fountain pool at the door, rinsed, washed their faces, hands, and tongues. After washing for more than half an hour, the mouth still smelled like a commotion. The two of them had completely collapsed. The tongue was cut off and thrown into the sewer. Wendy had no effect after washing for a long time. She sat slumped on the edge of the fountain and broke down crying. She had been stimulated by Claire earlier and almost lost her mind. Now because of Charlie, she is almost forced to become mentally ill. Baronaway is also crazy. When you grow up so big, when have you suffered such a loss? It's so up. The point is, why does Charlie have such a face? When Boyu saw him, it was like a mouse meeting a cat. It was the old and majestic housekeeper of the Song family, who was just an old dog. So he asked Wendy with a dark face, "What is the origin of Charlie, that dog?" Wendy said, "He is really a stinky silk. He had no parents at the age of 8. He grew up in the orphanage, and later entered our house as a live-in son-in-law. He is a waste, that's all." Baronaway frowned and said, "You speak a little bit away from me, it's too flavorful." Wendy said in her heart that she still thinks her words are too savory, so she didn't have the embarrassment to say, but she disliked him. But she didn't dare to disobey Baronaway, so she moved back more than half a meter. Baronaway questioned her at this time, then why both Boyu and Miss Song's family should give this waste face. Wendy said with a bitter face, "I don't know. I also want to know why. I used to scold him in front of me, and he didn't even dare to let his eyes meet with mine. When eating, I poured water on his head. He wanted to say sorry to me. When our family had dinner, he was not given the opportunity to serve the table, and let him serve as a waiter next to him serving tea and changing the plate. During the New Year's Eve dinner, he dropped the plate. I slapped him in the face." Speaking of this, Wendy was also extremely distressed and said, "I don't know why. Suddenly, this rubbish has become a capable person in the eyes of many people. Many people call him Mr. Wade, and many people want to embrace him. In the end all has become confused and miserable." After that, Wendy said again, "That's right. Chairman Fredman is still very strong in that respect. It can be said that he is stronger and stronger than the young man, but because after a conflict with him, he returned home. The inexplicable ones can't be used anymore, and he didn't know until now, whether Charlie did anything tricks." Baronaway gritted his teeth and said, "I can't swallow this breath. I have to go to Fredman to discuss it later." Warnya drove Charlie to the vegetable market all the way in her Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce stopped at the door of the vegetable market. Charlie said to Warnya, thank you for dropping me back. I'm leaving. Warnya nodded with a complicated expression, and said, Mr. Wade, go slowly. If there is nothing wrong, you can relax at the Brilliant Club. I have been there recently and will definitely serve Mr. Wade myself. Charlie smiled slightly and said, Okay, I will go if I have time, so I will leave first. Warnya nodded her head in a hurry, and said respectfully, Okay, Mr. Wade, go slowly. Saying goodbye to Charlie respectfully, watching Charlie's back disappear into the entrance of the vegetable market, Warnya couldn't help sighing. Seeing Charlie, a real dragon with superb strength on earth, had to rush to buy vegetables and cook before his wife got off work, she felt very unbalanced in her heart. It's not that Claire has never seen her before. She looks really good and is inseparable from him. However, in terms of temperament, academic qualifications, ability, and family background, she has nothing to compare with herself. She has received a Western aristocratic education since she was a child, even if she communicated with descendants of European royal families, she did not lose to them in terms of temperament and etiquette. And she graduated from Harvard University in the United States. Claire just graduated from Oris Hill University. The school level is also very bad. She is now in charge of half of the Song family's industry, and every business has made steady progress. What about Claire? Even a small Wilson family couldn't get a foothold in a small area. Her grandmother and cousin couldn't make it out. She was incapable, incompetent, and had no wrist at all. As for the family background, she is even less than a fraction of the Song family. The Wilson family is already on the verge of bankruptcy, and Claire's own studio has just opened. The gap is almost 1,000 miles. However, she is only better than her in one sense. She has a good husband. This is what makes her heart jealous, to go crazy. Why is she inferior to her in all aspects, but can have such a good husband by her side, willingly to guard her? Why is she so good in all aspects, but can't find a man as good as Charlie as a husband? Warnya was born proud and never envied anyone, but Claire was the one who really made her envy her. She felt that a capable man like Charlie should be with a woman like herself who is very good in every aspect. In this way, it can be regarded as a talented girl and a strong alliance. Even, she couldn't help but impulsively a few times and wanted to confess to Charlie and tell him what she thought of him. But after careful consideration, she gave up. It is not that she is unwilling to confess, but that she is still not sure of victory. Without the certainty of victory, she would probably be rejected or even disgusted by Charlie. In that case, the gain would not be worth the loss. After so many years of experience in the Song family, and in the business world, Warnya has long developed a good ability to judge the situation and act accordingly. Therefore, she can only temporarily hold back her inner love for Charlie, first accumulate a good feeling in front of Charlie and in Charlie's heart, and wait for the good feeling to reach a certain level, then confess to him. Charlie returned home to make a meal, and Jacob, the old master who had been out all day, returned first. Then Claire, who had been busy all day. After Claire returned, all the food was on the table, and Elaine hurried back happily. As soon as she entered the door, she started to show off to everyone, saying, "Today I won more than 7,000 at the Mahjong Hall." Jacob subconsciously said, "Oh, my wife, that's amazing." 7,000 a day, 210,000 a month. Claire couldn't help but frowned and said, "Mom, you occasionally play mahjong and relax. I don't have any problems. I can understand playing a little bit of money. But winning or losing 7,000 a day is a bit too big, right? There is a big risk when you get caught." Elaine waved her hand and said with a look of disdain, "Oh, don't you come to educate me. I know in my heart that all the rookies playing cards with me are far worse than me. I close my eyes and play cards with them. I always win. Do you know what your mother's nickname is? The god of high-heroed sparrow is me." Claire sighed helplessly, rubbed her temples, and simply ignored her. While eating, Claire suddenly received a WeChat message, opened it and checked it, and then asked Charlie, "It's the weekend tomorrow. Do you have any plans?" Charlie said, "What arrangements can I have? Buying vegetables, cooking, washing clothes and sweeping the floor." Claire said, "Elsa told me on WeChat that she has booked a suite at the Hot Spring Hotel and asked us to go to the hot spring. If you don't have any special arrangements, then I will agree to her." Charlie asked in surprise, "Soak in the hot springs? Should I go too?" Claire nodded. "She has reserved a suite, we have a room, and she has a room by herself, just to invite the two of us. She said she has been here for so long and hasn't invited the two of us." Elaine on the side immediately became vigilant and blurted out, "Claire, you and Elsa go to the hot springs, what do you want Charlie to do? He is not allowed to go. Stay at home and work." Claire said, "Mom, Elsa invited him. We must go together if I want to go." Elaine glared at Charlie and said, "How can you do that? You two will still sleep in the same room then, what if he does something to you? Aren't you at a loss?" Charlie realized that it turned out that he was worried about this old mother-in-law. Claire was also a little overwhelmed with Elaine's words, and said in a bad tone, "Mom, Charlie and I are husband and wife. We will solve our own affairs, so you don't need to worry about it." Elaine was also anxious. She threw the chopsticks and said angrily, "What? I'm a mother, I can't care about you." Claire still used colors and said angrily, "You can control what you should manage, you can't control what you don't." Elaine patted the table and said, "There is nothing wrong with being a mother. You have to take care of everything." Claire's rebellious enthusiasm was aroused, and she blurted out, "You can't care about this. I said, Charlie must go. No one can stop it. If you stop, I will move out." "You?" Elaine persuaded all of a sudden. As long as Claire said to move out, she was holding Elaine's weakness. Elaine had no choice but to say angrily, "Yes, I don't care, you go, you'd better grasp it yourself, or you will regret it in the future." After speaking, she rolled her eyes, looked at Charlie with a smile, and said, "Good son-in-law, if you don't go tomorrow or else, how about going to the mahjong hall with Mom to play? Mom won't let you go for nothing, here's your pocket money of 2,000. Elaine thought very well. Since Claire didn't make sense, she wanted to find a breakthrough from Charlie. If she could persuade Charlie not to go, then Claire can't blame her. However, Charlie smiled faintly at this time, and said, "Mom, I don't know how to play mahjong. I will go to the hot spring with Claire." In fact, Charlie really didn't want to go. If Elaine didn't force him, he would definitely reject Claire. As for why he didn't want to go, in fact, he was a bit repulsive to Elsa in his heart. Ever since he rescued Elsa for the second time, and Elsa knew that he was her dream lover, she had been confessing to him. Now she wants to ask his wife to go out to the hot springs, and she also needs to bring him. The real purpose is to ask his wife to be fake, right? In this case, it would be a bit embarrassing if he did go. However, this Elaine insisted on jumping out and chirping, forcing him to talk, which made Charlie annoyed. "Don't you let me go?" "Okay, then I will go." "Mad at you." Elaine didn't expect Charlie to disobey her, panting with anger, but because Claire was there, she couldn't say anything. Seeing Charlie's promise, Claire said, "The place Elsa decided is in the Champs-Élysées hot spring hotel in the suburbs. It is said to be an industry under Shangri-La Hotel. It is said to be pretty good. She will drive over to pick us up tomorrow." Charlie nodded and said, "Okay." Claire said, "Remember to pack a pair of swimming trunks at night. You must wear swimming trunks in the hot spring." Charlie smiled and asked, "Wife, don't you also want to wear a swimsuit?" Claire nodded and said, "Of course. I have to." Elaine hurriedly interjected, "Claire, you are never allowed to wear a bikini. Take out your most conservative swimsuit and bring it with you, so as not to let the Charlie take advantage." After speaking, remembering something, she said, "By the way, I have a set of face kini, which is suitable for you. Would you like that? I'll take it out for you." Face genie is a swimsuit worn by some middle-aged aunts at the beach. Not only is it one piece and very tightly wrapped, but the most terrifying thing is that for sun protection, the entire face is wrapped in, only the glasses, mouth, and nose. A small hole is opened, and the degree of protection is comparable to the mask of a terrorist fan. If you put on the face genie, whether you are as beautiful as a god or as ugly as cow dung, you will become a monster without a face and expression. When Claire heard that her mother let herself wear a genie, she said angrily, "Mom, are you a devil? I'm only in my 20s, you let me wear a genie? Why don't you let me be wrapped in a big cotton jacket and 2 cotton go pants to the hot spring?" Elaine said with a serious look, "Mom is afraid that you will be taken advantage of." "Charlie, this kid, your mom knows that he is a pervert in his bones, you must be careful." Charlie was furious. He knew that Junwei Gao's father Jian Jun Gao made her count the ball that day, so why did he save her? What a waste of food! Claire didn't pay attention to Elaine either. After dinner, she took Charlie back to the house. After returning to the house, she chose a swimsuit that was not so revealing and conservative, but that looked very casual and comfortable. As for Charlie, it's simple, a pair of boxer shorts is enough. The next morning, as soon as the two had packed their clothes, Elsa called again and said that she had driven downstairs. Going out is worth the money, Charlie has been hesitant in his heart. For Elsa, an enthusiastic and bold girl, he really didn't know how to deal with it. On the one hand, he didn't want to hurt Elsa, but on the other hand, he didn't want to be sorry for Claire. Therefore, now he is in complete dilemma. He was also worried about whether Elsa would take the opportunity to confess to him or make bolder moves when he went to the hot springs. However, since he had agreed to his wife, it was impossible to go back at this time, so he could only go out with her. After following Claire downstairs, he saw Elsa poking her head out of a Mercedes and saying, "Charlie, put your luggage in the trunk. You sit in the back seat and let Claire sit in the co-driver to chat with me." "Okay." Charlie nodded, put the luggage in the trunk, and then got into the back seat. After Charlie got in the car, Elsa turned her head and blinked at him shyly. Charlie pretended not to see it, stretched his waist and said, "Oh, I didn't sleep well last night. I was a little tired. I'll squint for a while." After speaking, he closed his eyes and nodded off in the back seat. Elsa was also a little bit lost in her heart. She knew the reason for Charlie's attitude, but she couldn't say anything when Claire was here. Moreover, she also expected that Charlie would be colder to her, but it didn't matter, since she had already liked him. She was also ready to fight a protracted battle with him. Because she knew that Claire's marriage with Charlie was in name only, so she didn't feel guilty at this time. Elsa drove the car to the outskirts. After more than an hour, the car drove into the foot of a beautiful mountain. After a few minutes, she reached the entrance of the Champs-Élysées hot spring. Champs-Élysées Spa is the only natural hot spring in Oris Hill. It is located at the foot of Nangxiang Mountain. There are a few natural geothermal hot springs. Shangri-La Group bought the hot springs and the entire mountain and developed the Champs-Élysées Spa Hotel. The Champs-Élysées Hot Spring Hotel has a very high compulsion and good consumption, so those who can come here to soak in the hot springs are rich people. However, even so, the availability of rooms here is in short supply. Not only the wealthy people in Oris Hill, but also the wealthy people in surrounding cities, will come all the way to enjoy the baptism of the hot springs on weekends. Today is the weekend, so the business here is exceptionally good. There are almost no vacancies in the parking lot. Elsa drove the car and ran back and forth in the parking lot several times, only to finally find an empty parking space, so she was happy, looked around, and immediately drove towards the empty space. When she arrived in front of the parking space, Elsa gave a direction and was about to reverse and park. And when she was a few meters away from the parking space at the back of her car, suddenly a Maserati sports car rushed over. Maserati's speed was very fast, and when she turned around, she was about to rush into the parking space where Elsa was about to stop. Elsa was startled, her hands were so messed up, she didn't react, she forgot to step on the brakes, so her car continued to fall backward. Hearing only the harsh noise, the side of the other party's car had already been scratched by Elsa's rear. Elsa came back to her senses and hurriedly stopped the car. She couldn't help but frown and complained, "Where can there be such a parking space? The quality is too bad, right? The basic rules of first come, first served parking spaces can't be done. Understand?" At this time, in the Maserati sports car, a young man wearing an exaggerated leather jacket and combing his greasy hair came out. After the young man got out of the car, he glanced at the scratches on the side of the car, his face suddenly gloomy. He gritted his teeth, walked to Elsa's car, slapped the window hard, and cursed, "Stupid, you blind? Can't see that I was going to park in this space? He also shaved the new car he bought, and quickly get him off. Elsa was also very upset in her heart. She is also Miss Dong's family anyway, who is a dumb person, so she pushed the door and got out of the car, and directly reasoned with the young man, "What are you yelling? You have no quality to grab a parking space, and you don't have to count. Still scolding others here." The young man did not expect that Elsa would dare to talk back, and yelled, "It is stupid silly female driver again. Of the 10 silly drivers on the road, 9 of them are all women. Can you drive? Go back to your mother's womb when the meeting is held, and then come out again, don't be ashamed of coming out." After that, he said again, "I've just bought this car with a size of 100 and hundreds of thousands. This made you cut it out, how much am I going to lose?" Elsa frowned and retorted, "Hey, you figure it out. I saw this parking space first, and I was ready to fall in. You broke out halfway to grab the parking space. It was originally your fault and you still have a face." The young man scolded angrily, "What's wrong with Mr. scolding you? Isn't it right to call you? Mr. not only scolds you, but Mr. beats you." After all, the young man stretched out his hand and grabbed Elsa's hair. Elsa was startled, she didn't expect this person to be so rude, and she hurriedly hid back. Claire hurriedly shouted, "Charlie, something has happened, come down quickly." The young man frowned and looked at Claire, then sneered, "Oh, this beauty is very pretty. Come on, stay with me all night, I won't investigate this matter any further." After speaking, he had to reach out and pull Claire into his arms. As soon as the young man's hand reached halfway, he was firmly grasped by a pair of strong hands. Seeing Charlie got out of the car, the young man dared to grab his hand, raised his eyebrows, and cursed, "Why are you so stupid? Are you looking for death? Let me go." Charlie threw his hand aside, his face was sullen, and he said, "Isn't it normal to drive a little bit? Isn't it normal? Is there anything you can say properly? Hands can solve the problem." The young man looked at Charlie and said contemptuously, "What can I say to you poor guys? 3 people drove a broken old Mercedes less than a 200,000 second-hand car. How dare you pretend to be something in front of me?" After finishing speaking, pointing to his Maserati, he said coldly, "The Maserati that I just mentioned was shaved by you. Come on, how can you compensate?" Charlie frowned and said, "We saw the parking space first, and we prepared to park in first. You have no right, and suddenly came out to grab the parking space. Why should we compensate?" The youth arrogantly said, "Why? You shouldn't stop here because of your broken car. You can't offend me." Charlie didn't get angry and laughed and said, "We won't compensate for this kind of thing. If it doesn't work, call the traffic police. Even if the traffic police decide the responsibility, it is your full responsibility. You should compensate us, understand?" The young man grinned, and gritted his teeth and cursed, "What is it? Talk to me about the traffic police? Do you know what I said? You have to die here." At this moment, a woman with heavy makeup and cosmetic face walked out of the young man's car. She pointed at Charlie and said contemptuously, "You are so poor, you dare to chirp here? Did you know that I have 3 million fans on YouTube? If you don't pay money, believe it or not, take pictures of your gang of beatings and post them on the internet so that fans can kill you." The young man immediately put on a trivial and flattering expression, and said, "Oh, my dear, why are you back down? Hurry back to the car and wait. Your husband can do this." After speaking, the young man put on a vicious expression and cursed at Charlie. "Boy, if you know me, you should pay the money quickly, and then drive off. Don't disturb me and my girlfriend to go to the hot springs." Charlie asked coldly, "What if I don't pay?" The young man gave a cold smile before he said, "A bunch of poor people, really pretends. You wait, I will let you know the consequences of not paying." After speaking, the young man took out his cell phone and dialed out. After a while, the phone was connected, and the young man said, "Manager Zheng, I'm here to play with you." The car was scraped by a few poor people as soon as it arrived in the parking lot. "They look crooked, you quickly bring a few people over." After hanging up the phone, the young man looked at Charlie with a sneer, and said, "Poor, I will give you a chance to lose money, and then apologize to me. Otherwise, when Manager Zhang comes, I won't be as fruitful as you." Seeing that the other party called for someone, Elsa was afraid that Charlie would be injured, so she hurriedly said, "Okay, if I accept it, you can tell me, how much is the loss?" The young man sneered, "My car was scratched by you this time, and the original paint will never be returned. This is a lifetime pain. You have to pay half the price of the car if you say anything. I will give you a discount. Even if you are 800,000. What? 800,000? Elsa said angrily, "You are an errant. Your car, even if you go to Maserati Force shop, it will cost you 2 or 3 thousands for a paint, plus sheet metal. 1 or 2, I think you can do all that by not paying more than 10,000. 10,000? The young man spit out thick sputum on the ground and almost spit on Elsa's feet. He cursed with a mouth full of big yellow teeth, "Are you arguing with me? Do you know what I do? Just 10,000. Thinking of something? Let me tell you that you cannot get away with one less than 800,000 today. If the money is not enough, it doesn't matter, leave your ID card information, and then give me an IOU. The interest is 80,000 a day. This is simply extortion." Claire couldn't see it anymore, and said angrily, "No matter how arrogant you are, we will call the police. Report, if you want to." The young man said contemptuously, "I'm afraid you count me as losing. Play this set with me? Tell you, I'm black and white, and I eat both ways." Elsa admitted that she was planted. She didn't care about 800,000, 8 million is a drizzle, but she really didn't want to cause trouble to Charlie. She invited them to come over. In fact, she wanted to meet Charlie and have more opportunities to get in touch and get along with each other. Therefore, she didn't want Charlie to cause trouble because of herself, and she didn't want Charlie to affect his mood because of this incident. So she gritted her teeth and said, "Okay, 800,000, give me a card number, and then I will turn it over for you. What are you saying is true?" The young man didn't expect that 800,000, she would really give it. What he originally thought was that the other party counter-offered, made concessions by himself, and eventually extorted 100,000 from the other party and made a lot of money. Unexpectedly, people would give 800,000 if nothing else. Now it's a profit. But at this moment, Charlie suddenly stopped Elsa and said coldly, "Don't give him a penny. I want to see what the consequences can be today." Seeing that Charlie was blocking his financial path, the young man immediately gritted his teeth and said, "Okay, you are forced to find death. If I don't beat you half to death later, I won't be surnamed Lu." Charlie said indifferently, "You guys like to pretend so much, I think you can change your surname." "Stupid." The youth immediately violent veins, ready to come up and make two gestures with Charlie at any time. At this moment, a middle-aged fat man with a few strong security guards hurried over. When he saw him coming, the youth immediately said with a smile, "Manager Zheng, I have not seen you in the past few days, and you have become fat again. It seems that life is really nourishing." Manager Zheng laughed and complimented, "Mr. Lu, how can you moisturize my days? I just pass my days, unlike you, who has a big family." After speaking, he hurriedly asked, "By the way, Mr. Lu, what is going on here?" The young man pointed Charlie with his hand, and said in a cold voice, "This poor hanger is too pretending. He won't be compensated me for scraping my car. The bones are still so hard. Solve it." Manager Zheng nodded and looked at Charlie. After looking around, he found that Charlie was wearing ordinary clothes, and he didn't have the temperament of a rich second generation. In addition, he drove an old Mercedes, and knew that the other party was also a person with no background, so he spoke. "Boy, when you go out, you don't have any vision? Do you know who you provoke?" "Who is it?" Charlie asked indifferently. Manager Zheng glanced at the youth and said, "Mr. Lu Ming of the Lu family. The Lu family has hundreds of millions of assets, you can't afford it." After he finished speaking, he immediately said, "If you don't want to cause trouble, just listen to me, honestly lose the money, then move the car away, don't waste Mr. Liu's time." Charlie frowned and said, "You are also very interesting. You came up and said that it was my problem and wanted me to compensate." Manager Zheng sneered, "Sure enough, you are a poor man. Open your dog's eyes and see what car is parked around. What car are you driving? Which car do we have here, which is less than 1 million? What qualifications do you have to park a broken Mercedes here?" Charlie glanced around and said, "I didn't see a sign prohibiting parking of cars under 1 million. What are you talking about?" Seeing that Charlie was always stuck with oil and salt, Lu Ming kicked the tail lights of the Mercedes, and kicked the tail lights with a slap. Immediately he cursed, "I have tolerated you for a long time, you are a poor hanger, what do you pretend to be here?" More chirps, "Believe it or not, I can break your leg? You don't want to lose money? These idiot girls accompany me tonight." While speaking, Lu Ming grabbed Claire who was standing next to Charlie. Charlie frowned, stood in front of Claire and Elsa, grabbed Lu Ming's arm and pushed him out. Lu Ming was furious and cursed, "You are so poor and want to fight back? I think these two ladies are honored by me. If you dare to fight back, I will kill you. You believe me? Do not believe." Charlie squinted his eyes slightly, with a cold expression in his eyes. He looked at Lu Ming and said, "It's better to leave a way for being a man, and don't let yourself go to death." As soon as Lu Ming stretched out his hand, he pushed Charlie, and said with an annoyed smile, "Oh, you are a poor hanger and you have installed it. I won't stay behind. What can you do for me?" Manager Zhang also waved from the side, asked the security guard to surround Charlie and the others, and said, "Poor, let go of Mr. Lu, you hurt Mr. Lu, you can't afford to die." Why would Charlie take care of his nonsense? He lifted his leg and kicked directly on Lu Ming's stomach and kicked him out. Lu Ming only felt a sharp pain in his stomach, as if his intestines were broken, and said angrily, "Manager Zhang, kill him. Dare to beat me, beat him to death. I am responsible if something goes wrong." Manager Zhang was about to order, but suddenly heard a voice from inside. "Yeah, what's the matter, so lively?" When Manager Zhang heard this, his whole body was shocked. It was too late to hit Charlie. He turned to look over there and said eagerly, "Mr. Orville, are you finished soaking? How do you feel?" "It's okay." Orville responded casually and asked curiously, "What are you doing?" While speaking, Orville brought a bunch of his little brothers and walked towards him. Manager Zhang quickly explained, "A poor man hit Mr. Lu. I am about to avenge Mr. Lu. This kid is not very capable, but his bones are a bit hard." Lu Ming clutched his stomach, and shouted at Mr. Orville, "Uncle, long time no see." Orville glanced at him twice before smiling and said, "It turns out that it's the Lu family. You are bad enough, can you still be beaten in Oris Hill? It's too shameful for you." Orville has a good relationship with Lu Ming's father, so Lu Ming is regarded as his half-elder nephew, and he speaks more directly, and he is completely elder. Lu Ming didn't dare to make a second in front of Orville, so he had to say embarrassingly, "Uncle, isn't this a poor man who is stunned, and I will let him know the cost of beating me later." Orville snorted and said, "I really want to see, whoever is so courageous, even you dare to fight." Orville walked to the neighborhood, and then pushed aside the security guards surrounded by layers and looked at the crowd. Immediately afterwards, he saw Charlie with an indifferent expression. Charlie looked at Orville playfully, and asked, "Mr. Orville, are you pretty nosy?" Orville immediately broke into a cold sweat. He did not expect that the one surrounded by this group of people turned out to be Mr. Wade. At this moment, he secretly rejoiced in his heart. Fortunately, he didn't say anything excessive just now. Otherwise, if he accidentally angered Mr. Wade, wouldn't he even have to follow him? The last time Mr. Wade gave his favor and rewarded himself with a magical medicine, he was already loyal to Mr. Wade. He was his dog when he was born and his dead dog when he died. This time he almost didn't have eyes and bit his master. It's almost a disaster. Orville hurriedly bowed deeply and respectfully said, "Mr. Wade, I didn't know it was you who came." The people around were suddenly speechless. The famous Orville is so respectful to a poor man? Isn't this weird? Charlie pointed his finger at the young man and asked faintly, "Do you know this kid?" Mr. Orville is not a fool, knowing that Lu Ming must have offended Mr. Wade. At this time, he could not care that he was a friend's son. He immediately walked in front of Lu Ming and knocked Lu Ming to the ground with a fierce slap. Grab his hair and slam his head against the concrete floor. With a boom, Lu Ming was smashed. Lu Ming resisted the severe pain, and asked, "Uncle, what are you hitting me for?" Mr. Orville glared at him, slammed directly on Lu Ming's head again. "Dare to provoke Mr. Wade, you're so impatient." Manager Zheng of the Champs Elysees Spa saw this scene completely stunned. He didn't know what was going on, and the security guards didn't dare to move. Lu Ming even screamed like a pig, "Uncle, stop fighting! What is going on?" Orville stepped on Lu Ming's face with his foot, and said coldly, "Lu Ming, I usually call you a big nephew and give you a face, don't I? You act like this outside." Lu Ming said anxiously, "Uncle, how did I provoke you? If you tell me, I will change it." While kicking him, Orville cursed, "Mr. Wade is as kind to me as a new parent. You dare to be disrespectful to Mr. Wade? You say it yourself, are you looking for death?" Only then did Lu Ming realize that he had provoked someone who shouldn't be provoked, and hurriedly cried and pleaded, "Uncle, I was wrong. I confess my mistake to Mr. Wade. I apologized to him. It was my fault. Blame me, I am willing to compensate him for his loss." Orville glanced at his Maserati sports car and sneered, "You kids are not usual when you drive a new car, isn't it? Come on, smash his car. It's a mess. I want to listen to it today." Rang. "Driving a broken Maserati and driving you to the sky, anyone dares to offend. Okay." The strong man in black at the back immediately picked up the clubs and smashed the Maserati. The plastic face woman sitting inside Maserati screamed in terror, opened the door and ran out. Looking at her appearance, Orville knew that she was not a good bird, and immediately said to his opponent, "Come on, get me that plastic face." Kneels down. As a result, the plastic face was immediately taken over and knelt on the ground with a splash. She annoyed and said, "What are you doing? I tell you, I have millions of fans on YouTube. You annoyed me, I will expose you. I'm going to your mother." Orville slapped her directly, put her prosthetic nose under his hand, and pointed at her and cursed, "A little rubbish internet celebrity dare to yell here, know me? Who is it?" "Who knows you, old stuff," muttered with a plastic face gritted teeth. Lu Ming next to him was frightened and slapped her face, cursing, "Are you crazy? This is the Master Orville. Great Master Orville." The facelift face was back in the car just now, and was patronizing the car to take a selfie with Maserati's steering wheel. "I didn't know that this man was Mr. Orville." When she heard this, she was frightened and trembling and said, "Great Lord! Yes. I'm sorry, if I know it was you and killed me, I wouldn't dare to offend you," Orville said coldly, "Unlock your phone for me." Plastic Face didn't know what he was going to do, but she didn't dare to disobey him. After all, this is the king of the Oris Hill underground world, so she can only do it obediently. Orville took her mobile phone, turned on YouTube, and clicked directly to shoot. He patted the face of the other party with a crooked nose, and said loudly, "Come on, say to the camera that you are a stinky frame from the second generation of Pong Fu. 10 times. Seeing that Orville was about to shoot her on the face of the facelift, she hurriedly begged, "No way, Mr. Orville, I have a lot of fans, if they see me, what should I do? Don't tell me." Orville nodded and said, "Tie her up and take her away, and send her to my KTV as a lady for 3 years. If she dares to run, you will kill her. Yes. The younger brothers hurried forward. The face was scared and hurriedly crying and begging, "Oh Lord," I said. "I said it's not enough." Orville pointed the camera at her and shouted coldly, "Say it." Plastic face crying, while saying, "I am the second generation of Pongfu's stinky frame." After speaking 10 times in a row, Orville stopped recording and sent it directly to her YouTube. Then he slammed the phone to the ground and broke it into pieces. Now, she wanted to delete it but couldn't delete it. In the ear, the sound of smashing cars was endless, and the brand new Maserati was quickly smashed into a pile of scrap iron. Lu Ming trembled all over. No matter how stupid he knew it, he probably kicked on an iron plate this time, and he hugged Orville's leg and begged for mercy. "I'm wrong, Uncle. Please spare me once. I really know it's wrong." "Wrong with your mother?" Mr. Orville kicked Lu Ming fiercely in the chest, turned to look at Charlie, and asked for instructions. "Mr. Wade, what do you think?" Charlie glanced at Lu Ming coldly and smiled. "This kid is very interesting. He likes to curse and sprays manure with his mouth full. By the way, 2 days ago I heard that someone also sprayed manure with his mouth full, and was finally pulled to the toilet. Licking the urinal. Do you know this?" Of course Orville knows. At the time in the Brilliant Club, Baron Away of the Wei family brought a concubine over and offended Mr. Wade. He was forced by Boyu, the head housekeeper of the Song family, to lick 8 urinals. This matter spread early in Oris Hill. A lot of people talked after dinner. However, Boyu didn't dare to expose Charlie's identity to the outside world, so no one outside knew that Baron Away and his concubine were punished so badly that they had offended some big people. 2 days ago, Lu Ming laughed at Baron Away for being embarrassed and being so miserable. He also said that if he was so miserable, he would resist desperately. Unexpectedly, Charlie suddenly said such words at this time, and his soul was frightened. He didn't want to follow in Baron Away's footsteps and lick the urinal in the men's bathroom. So he hurriedly begged, "Mr. Wade, I don't know. Please forgive me this time. You see that my car was also smashed, and I am out of breath. Please forgive me." One time, Charlie smiled lightly and said, "You seem to like to call me a poor man just now. I think you seem to be particularly interested in the word poor man." "No, no." Lu Ming hurriedly shook his head and waved his hand, and explained in a flustered manner, "I am a poor man. I am a poor man. Mr. Wade." Charlie nodded and said, "Okay, since you know you are poor, then I suggest you engrave these 2 characters on your forehead so that everyone can know, right?" Lu Ming squatted his head in fright, and cried, "Mr. Wade, please spare me this time. I am willing to pay you 5 million. Oh no. I will pay you 10 million. Charlie shook his head, "I am a poor person, so I am not interested in your money. Besides, you scared my wife just now. Do you think you can just lose some money?" After speaking, he asked Orville, "Mr. Orville, do you have a knife?" Orville hurriedly winked at his opponent. His men immediately handed over a sharp folding dagger. Orville handed the dagger to Charlie respectfully and said, "Mr. Wade, please." "Shall I please?" Charlie glared at him and asked him, "Do you think it's worthwhile for me to write an inscription by myself?" Only then did Mr. Orville realize how big a mistake he had made. Yes, a Lu Ming, how can he be qualified to let Mr. Wade personally engrave on his forehead? So he hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, let me come." "I come." Charlie nodded and said, "Engrave a little deeper. I'm afraid that if the engraving is shallow, he will not have a long memory in the future." Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.